What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more acid techno, though I should say this is acid techno right on the border of maybe being worthy of the label hard acid. Hard acid is typically used for acid music that is somewhere between techno and hardcore. I think it's more in the form of techno typically when that label is used. And again, like, it depends on whether you spell it Techno or Tekno. The Kno is more of like a free party kind of like, tunes that kind of like just meld into each other and so on, like live performances and so on. But yeah, hard techno in that context is different from hard acid, I would say. But again, for me, hard acid is techno that's like just on the edge of being hardcore, but isn't quite fast enough, doesn't have quite the same kind of like distortion of the bass line and so on, but is much harder than you would typically mean when you say acid techno, whether you're talking about London acid techno or like, continental styles of acid techno, whether you're talking 90s or more recently. But yeah, this tune is right on the edge of maybe being hard acid. It is on a label that is more known as like a UK style acid techno label. Though the reason I say UK is because Havok is famously from Manchester. It's not a London label. And the guys who ran it, a bunch of guys that were eventually on at least one Stay Up Forever remix record. So they made tunes and records in conjunction with the London crew. From time to time, but like I said, these guys were up in Manchester with this label Havok. It ran until the very early 2000s. I think like the last release is like 2001, so I think the first one was maybe like 96, something like that. So it didn't run for a full decade, but it ran and put out a number of amazing releases. And even though it is more in like a normal UK acid techno style, it is on the crazier end. It is kind of like a smitten label in terms of like, it's acid techno that's like, up to 11 or, like slightly a little bit mental. And this track is perhaps the best example of that. We're going to listen to a tune by Acid Ted and versus the Pranksters. Shout out to Acid Ted. Shown up in a number of places. I've been reacting to the original and remix of Sound System Banger, a tune he did with Cyber Steve. And he's, come back recently to do like remixes of tracks from his Acid Test label from back in the day. So yeah, Acid Ted's still around. Awesome producer. And yeah, this is a tune, Acid Ted versus the Pranksters, and it's called Respec. That's RSPEC apostrophe. RESPEC apostrophe. Not with a T. And yeah, it has a gangster movie sample. I'm actually blanking on what gangster movie it's from. But yeah, we'll get to it. This is Acid Ted versus the Pranksters, Respec, on the label Havok. Does it say what year this is? Not seeing it here. I'll check in a moment. But I don't see it on the label. 45? That's right, the labels are wrong. I am remembering this now as soon as I get to it. Yeah, it says this side for Respec, but that's wrong. That wasn't Respec that we're about to hear. This, however, is Respec. Let me check the year. This is 2000, so 22 years ago. Oof. That kick is so heavy, we're like redlining and it's not, it's below where I usually have the master gain. But, despite this pace, which is fast, despite the thunderous nature of the kick, I hope you enjoy this moment, because this is as mellow, as calm as the tune will be. And we're away. There's no going back. You've just taken the red pill, even though you didn't know. The rolling low end. It's like you're caught in like a bass, like washing machine. not just here, but on his own label, Acid Test, Acid Ted. He and a couple people that he produced with, they made tunes that are like somewhere between acid techno and hard house of the like turn of the millennium, which I was into, I won't lie. I have a lot of records in that late 90s, early 2000s hard house style. Lots of Hoovers, but also lots of acid. Some of the best tunes in that style have acid and Hoovers in tandem. See also this track. Right now the acid is just like a little drill, just like a quick drill, like a little like burrowing acid line. With a little whip at the end of it. But in a whip. It's a total lack of respect for the law. That layer's like a big acid fan blade, like and we're away. We're gonna get a big build up? No. And it's interesting, this kick is one of the kicks where I described it as like, it sounds like it's turned around, or like it's like a 16th of a second, like late. But I like it because it gives the track like a very distinct sort of rhythm. It's like, it's almost like it's stagnated even as it's charging ahead. The Hoover is almost like a Hoover siren or a Hoover alarm, right? We're gonna go up a level. Oh, to the low end. It's like a warm, like buzz just took over the track. Listen to the acid. Keep your ear on the acid. Has become like an acid fire hose, just like straight into your gray matter. It's just insane. It's madness. My brain can't handle it. Heard this tune like 200 times? 500 times? I still can't get through that section without my mind exploding. Incidentally, this would mix well with a number of tracks that have this same like oh my god vibe. I'm thinking of the Dave the Drummer remix of Found What We're Looking For. I'm thinking of Acid Disco, remixed by Dave the Drummer. I think originally a Glasby track. I'm thinking Brown Nun by the Vibe Bar Rejects, also Henry Colin involved and Steve Smitten. But they're all tracks that are like hurricanes of acid that just take off and like you just have to hold on to like a tree or something. Listen on the way out. Listen to this ride out on the way out. Get out of here. And then it cuts it. Just back to that rolling deep end. Total lack of respect for my sanity, guys. Yeah, unbelievable. And, you know, again, it actually works for me that the labels are unfortunately or like unintentionally switched. Because like there's no better image to like convey the tone and atmosphere of that track than this like psychotic, deranged teddy bear. So once again, shout out to Acid Ted and the Pranksters. Shout out to Havok. Not only a great label, but you know this is the kind of track where like you know, even if it wasn't full of other awesome tunes, and believe me, I have most of the Havok records. I think I'm missing like one or two, and it's just the last couple which are like extremely rare, because like the very last one, I think it's only available in the like test pressing run they did, which is, I don't know if it's like 10 copies or something. The one before that, I think there's like more copies, and there's like a it's like Low Rent Operator or something, and I think one of the mixes, I don't know if it's under the name Geezer, but like Geezer is involved in one of the remixes. It's a good tune, but I think again the record's really rare. It's like rarely ever been up for sale. When the one time I saw a copy for sale, it was like a VG, like not even like that great in condition, and I think they were charging like £50 or something. It's like, man, like I'd love to get that record, but that's not the copy. But yeah, bottom line, I have most of the other Havocs. There's a number of great tunes, so I may have done one or two others. I know on my old channel I did this and I think the flip side. But yeah, bottom line, we'll come back for some more Havok. Let me know what you think of this insane tune. Other than that, I will see you next time. Peace.